Okay, so let's take a look, just so you can get a visual kind of overview, and then I'll stop and we'll look at some specific things. There's two things that are going on. One is the overall path, which you pointed out. You tend to drop quite a lot on your forehand side. We're going to look at your backhand side separately.
Yeah, my backhand side is almost, I miss more on that because I try to swing. I swing more than just stick.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So the other, besides like overall path of the racket, there's one other main thing I'm going to point out. This is kind of the main reason why I wanted to record a couple of my volleys. We're going to actually look at tension versus softness, and especially in your hand and in your forearm. As you make contact and go through contact, there's little to no give of the racket, and that's definitely the pattern on both sides for you. It's very, very direct, very firm, and the racket doesn't deviate really at all. It continues to go towards your target.
It almost overtakes the hand from starting behind it.
Yeah, that's good.
In front of it, like from here to there. So the wrist kind of flexes.
That's a good point.
A little bit.
So what Ira's saying is there's actually active hinge or a hit through the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. So watch your racket head versus your hand. So you're actually
Breaking
pushing
my
the
wrist.
racket head,
Okay.
yeah, through it. Now, when you're close to the net and it's a floating sitter ball, that's the technique you want to use. The problem is that's the technique you're using on all of your volleys. I was curious what your consistency and accuracy level is.
It's not good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's pretty typical.
Especially under pressure, yeah, it's not good.
This is why, is because you're very, very heavy-handed through the ball. And that's the only like flavor of volley that you have. If we like play through a bunch of these, basically you see that same like pattern where you get to contact and the racket either actively goes through contact, like the one before this, or your racket stops right at contact. And like in the case of this one, from the point of contact, you're really just kind of hitting a wall. And there's zero forward guide of the racket past contact. And this is super, super common. So just to contrast that, I'll play at full speed first, just to get a feel for the difference. And so on these,
You're following the ball.
yes, that's a nice way of saying it. I've never said it that way. There's active movement of the racket through the point of contact and towards my target. And so as opposed to it being like a hitting or like a chopping motion, I'm giving the ball direction and guidance actively through contact, as opposed to coming to contact and everything being focused right on that moment, like, I'm gonna punch, is like the word everybody uses. If you want accurate volleys and consistent volleys, then this is the way to do it.
Okay.
And I'm not saying this is the only way to hit a volley. Like I said before, on a floating, easy ball, the way you're doing it is excellent to add pace and to be firm and to put the ball away. For every other type of volley, it should be something more in line with this. And so I want you to watch my racket as the ball hits it. My racket is actually rebounding, recoiling. Look at my hand versus my racket and watch my racket head. It actually goes back away from the point of contact and then continues forward again. And you'll see me do that on both sides. My racket is giving the ball guidance through the point of contact.
Right.
Even on a higher ball where I'm a little bit more firm, I'm telling the ball where to go. So we're gonna teach you how to do this.
Great.
Ira's gonna toss you some forehands. And what you're gonna do is make a unit turn to your right side, lay the racket open, and just let the ball bounce off. And so the position we wanna be in is kind of similar to what we were going for on your forehand ground stroke, with your hand laid back. Difference is now we want the racket face open, whereas on ground strokes we want it square.
Right.
But most volleys we want the racket a little bit open at contact. So let's practice that a few times. From racket head right over the net to right alongside the net. Yes. Let's practice going right to that position. Yeah, good. Do it again without touching my racket. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Ooh. Ira's gonna toss to my forehand side, and then I'm gonna make that same move, and I'm just gonna let the ball bounce off. I'm not gonna hit it, I'm not gonna guide it, I'm not gonna do anything to it right now. Just let it bounce. Bounce off the racket for right now. Okay? Nice job. Without touching my racket.
Oh, sorry.
No worries,
I'm
no worries.
taking it back towards-
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Good. That's better.
Really
So think of this.
front.
Think of this not so much as, yes, it is out in front. Think of the racket as simply moving along the net. That nothing else. Awesome. Yep. Why this looks especially good is as the ball gets to your racket is rebounding. That means your hand is loose, it's relaxed. Most players, the first time they do this, even if they're able to just leave the racket there, which most players still wanna hit it, if they just leave it there, it's like stone, it's like rigid, it's like hitting a wall. And you actually have some give here, which is exactly what we're going for. Most players I have to say, okay, now I want you to relax your hand more, before the racket ever starts to give at all. You're already starting to allow the racket to go away from contact, which, believe it or not, is actually great.
Okay.
So the big picture is we're gonna do less with this to gain feel and more with this to gain control. All right, Mary, we're gonna do the same thing on the backhand side now. I'm gonna start from that same position, move your racket along the net, and come to that same position. That's right, and two hands totally fine. So open racket face, right in line with the net tape, and then I want you to just leave the racket there, let the ball bounce off. And I'd love to see a little bit of softness as the ball hits your racket. Let me show you what's going on here. So here on your backhand side, you're used to being a lot more, even more rigid than on your forehand side. And so you're trying to soften this up, and what's happening is you're actually pulling away. So here's the hit, the ball's gone, the ball's hitting, and then you're pulling the racket away.
Okay.
All right, Mary, Ira's gonna go back a little further. Most of the shots you were just hitting were landing around in here. We're now gonna have a target of this basket, so like twice as far. And our goal is to hit shots that now we're going to guide the ball towards our target, which is towards that basket, while maintaining the looseness so that the racket rebounds at contact. That was more towards the end of your motion. That's better. That was more towards the end of your motion again. There we go. Yeah, nice. Here's one that you just hit. You see the difference? And so there's not you're not coming to a stop at contact anymore. There's actual momentum going through the point of contact.
Right.
And so in full speed, That one's more rigid and stopping. And that one, there's actual
Right.
forward guide. Yeah, flow is a good word. Yeah, very good word. A little more flow. That's all right. That's all right. That's
There,
it. That's
nice.
it. That's it. That's it, Mary.
Very good, Mary.
Keep going. Yeah, good. You're doing
Shoot.
great.
All right, Ian's gonna move the target back about midway through the no man's land. His feeds are gonna get a little bit faster, which just means there's more energy coming out. And so naturally more energy will leave your racket. So don't try to hit it any harder, just kind of move smoothly through each volley. Nice. It's still a little bit at the end of the,
I noticed that, yeah.
I mean, ideally contact would be about here.
Right, right,
And then you'd finish kind of right there.
right.
There, nice.
That's it, Mary.
There. Here's that last one.
But it's
Right.
it's better
It's at like 75% versus.
of the motion
Right.
being done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's where my motion started. Here's contact.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're way in. You have
So-
more than
so,
50% to
right.
go.
So I'm probably flipped.
25%,
Like, I'm
yeah.
making contact at like 25, and you're making contact at
Right.
75. Somewhere in between. Like I'd love to see you at 50%.
Yeah.
Like contact being made right in the middle
Right.
of
That
that
motion.
Of that motion.
Right.
There. Contact point I thought is like ideal. This is kind of where you want to make contact. Agree?
Let me see the rest of it. Oh, that was great. That was great.
Forward through.
Yeah, this is your best by far
Yeah.
so far that I've seen. Great job. Great job. Okay, good, good. You're starting to get a feel for it.
Yeah, I think
on the
I
forehand
was.
side.
Yep.
Looks good.
Yeah, thanks. No, I just have to remember that feeling.
That's going to be the hard
Yeah,
part because
yeah.
the next time you walk out onto a court, you know, enough time will have passed that
Right.
you're going to want to switch just right back into the extended, like
Right.
tight, punchy kind of stuff.
Right.
And so it's going to most definitely take you a conscious effort to kind of switch modes and go to the ones that you were just hitting.
Nice. Nice. There you go. Good. Good. Pace is picking up. Start to relax the hand. There you go. Good. Nice. Now lob him. Just get him out of here. Yes. Nice. Once he gets that close, just lob him.
I do feel my right hand side, at least my forehand volleys, I feel like are better,
Yeah, for sure.
cleaner.
Yeah, and more in control. There, nice.